Go ahead and crack your back first. Okay. Welcome to Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast, the show that dances on the inside. I'm your co-host, Melanie Gibson, and tonight I am drinking basically a canned cocktail from TX Whiskey, which is made right here in Fort Worth, Texas. AJ's making a face. It's whiskey and sweet tea, 7% alcohol. And I've had this before. It's a little too sweet for my taste. I'd like a little more whiskey and a little less tea, but it's not bad. So I'm going to have some of this to wet my whistle. Hello, okay. AJ.
What's up?
Say something. I'm trying to get my drink on.
I have tea too, but it doesn't have whiskey in it.
Yeah, this is very sweet. Honestly, I love TX Whiskey. I don't know if I would buy this again.
And none of this has anything to do with our review.
Nothing. The stuff I drink usually doesn't have anything to do with it.
True.
So, what are we reviewing tonight?
The movie that started it all. Well, not all. It's not like the very first movie ever, but we've been wanting to do a dance movie, so we decided to go all the way back to Step Up.
Yeah, we would have done You Got Served, but that's not free on any of the streaming services. Step Up is currently, at the time of this recording, on Amazon Prime.
And I'm not sure which one. I guess this one's technically a better film, but I think You Got Served is more like what you expect from a dance movie.
Yeah, it's definitely got all the tropes, and it's definitely unintentionally funnier. Step Up has its funny moments, but they're legit making jokes. It's not like so bad that it's funny. It's a pretty good little movie, but it's pretty tame if you've seen any of the Step Up sequels. So I always feel like Step Up 1 from 2006 is to the franchise the way that Undisputed with Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames is to the rest of like the Boyka craziness.
Or Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, the first Fast and Furious movie is really tame, and then they fly a car in space.
Nobody flies into space while dancing, though, so...
No, so that could be a first one. Channing Tatum, what's up? I just want to see Channing Tatum in something else.
I mean, he needs to have... They need to make the next one about the asshole in this movie being some sort of pop star, and Channing Tatum runs into him again or something.
Beats crap out of him. Yeah, and we're kind of cosplaying the look today because I'm kind of dressed like Nora, the main girl who's always in some dancery type of top and a scarf for some reason. And her ponytail's a lot curlier. My hair's really straight today. And AJ's got more of the...
Obvious, I look exactly like Channing Tatum.
Exactly.
I didn't even have to try.
Not at all.
I got the same big, hot dummy energy, I'm sure.
Yeah, he is a hot dummy. So let's talk about Step Up. Step Up is from 2006, and it's from Touchstone Pictures. So watching that opening was a blast from the past. And the opener plays some hip-hop music, and you see just people from the waist down or the ankles down, and you see ballet dancers with point shoes, and they're in a studio, and then hip-hop dancers. AJ thinks point shoes are the funniest thing.
They're hilarious.
I've made him go to 4 ballets now. I think it's 4. We saw Swan Lake, Cleopatra, Firebird. Okay, that's 3, and we're going to see Midsummer Night's Dream. Okay. So, and he thinks it's the funniest thing when the girls are on point, and you can hear their little point shoes.
It's when everything is quiet, and that's all you hear. Like, it seems like, oh, this is a serious moment.
Yeah, and he thinks it's funny, and I'm just like, shh, messing it up. So we see that this is going to be a juxtaposition of snooty ballet and hip-hop dance, although it's really not. It's really more a contemporary dance. So, but let's talk a little bit about our interest in dance movies, because we come from different places with this. So I'm a wannabe dancer at heart. I was a dance major for probably 2 or 3 years in college. Not because I necessarily wanted to do that for the rest of my life, but just because I fell in love with dance as a high school theater student, and I desperately wanted to learn how to dance. I desperately wanted to do that. Now that I think back, if I were advising somebody and say, if you don't want to do that for the rest of your life, major in something else and take community dance classes. But I was young and dumb. So either way, I'd probably end up with a torn ACL. So here I am 20 years later. But I don't dance anymore, but I still love to watch it. And so I love dance movies to watch the technique, but I also like the bad acting and the bad writing for some guilty pleasure hate watching. So why do you are not
I hate
a dance
dancing.
person. You don't like
I hate
dancing.
dancing. It's anxiety ridden. There's nothing beneficial about it.
It's like doing a form with a partner.
Nope, I hate it.
That's too bad. I really need a Texas two-step, and I want somebody to take me country dancing.
There's probably some types of dancing I wouldn't mind doing, but I'm not interested. But I think I saw Step Up 3 first out of all dance movies, and I don't know why I really enjoyed it. It was over the top, but it wasn't super ridiculous, and it made New York look amazing and interesting, even though I know I would hate it there. So, and a lot of the music was good. So then I realized I loved watching these stupid movies.
Yeah, and also for the same thing, kind of the crappy acting. Not everybody, but
I do like to see
the bad writing.
I do like to see other people dance well.
Yeah, and there's an athleticism to it too, and we're both athletes, so I think we can appreciate people who move really well. All right, so we see the opening and we think, oh, okay, it's going to be the clash between classical dance and hip-hop dancing. And we see Channing Tatum at a club, and he's doing some sexy hip-hop dancing with a girl, and her boyfriend doesn't like it, so he pulls a gun on him.
Dance at me, I'll fucking shoot you.
Yeah, so we establish that he's kind of in the hip-hop community in Baltimore, and he's like the one white guy.
He's the flake. He's the Frost Crispy flake, just hanging out in this.
But they all accept him as the white boy who can really dance. So then he and his friend Mac and Mac's little brother Skinny all are really tight friends, and they're walking home and they just start acting silly. They start throwing trash at each other.
They have a trash fight.
They have a trash fight. You know how you do in Baltimore.
Hey, yo, I can't believe you fought PJ. Nah, man. Hold on. That's PJ. Yo, what is he doing? Skinny, what are you...
So one of them, I think it was either Skinny or Mac, throws something and breaks a window. And Skinny says, "Ooh, I know this place, and it's the Maryland School of the Arts." And so he said, "Oh, all these rich kids go here, screw them, blah, blah, blah."
And this becomes Vin Diesel's backstory.
Yes.
In real life, like, he actually did a very similar thing.
Do you want to tell Vin Diesel's backstory? Speaking of Fast and Furious.
I don't know how much it differs from this. Him and maybe friends, I don't recall, had vandalized a art school. I think it was their stage, and they got caught, and the school told them that to repay them, he had to start acting in the troupe. So that's how he got his start.
Millions and millions of dollars later, I think it's worked out well for him.
Channing Tatum has to try harder. Like, he actually has to work, not just... They're like, well, you're going to pay us back by dancing.
I haven't told it to happen yet.
Now, if they said pay us back by dancing, I would expect it to turn into a different movie, which he also is in.
Yeah, but so Mac and Channing, Channing's name is Tyler. I'm just going to call him Channing Tatum the whole time. Mac, Tyler, and Skinny break into the school, and Skinny is a little younger. He's like 15, and so he's running off being silly, and the older boys are following him. And they... What?
And I'll explain what I mean when I say this. And he says some gay shit.
They do show off their muscles pretty nice, though. No, man, I'm just... Don't touch me. I'm just... Matt, I'm just saying, man.
And his brother gives him
this look. They're looking at... they're looking at all the, like... Our school had, like a trophy case.
One little thing. We didn't have this, but all the schools that show, like, these huge trophy cases, and every year there's, like, whatever, that's this huge event. And he's looking through these... And they're making fun of the dancers, but he's like, "Oh no, I mean, it's, you know, those tight outfits kind of show off the muscles." Then they're like,
"What?
Fuck you just," and they're like, "Oh, get away from me."
Yeah. And he says they look like their shirts are spray painted
like,
on. It's
not funny because I mean, if Skinny meant it that way, it's cool, but he didn't mean it that way, so it felt very real. Like, that's exactly...
Yeah, because straight men are the most homophobic...
And yet gayest things ever.
Yeah, they say the gayest things, but they're also super homophobic.
For no reason, they will have a full-on gayer than you could gay conversation just because.
You and all your friends at work. So they break into the theater, and they start playing around with the stuff on stage. They start trashing things, and they get caught by the security guard. And I'm going to say, as a high school theater kid, why did you have all that shit on the stage? Did they not have a storage closet?
Maybe
And they were
it takes
just
forever to set up.
they were just using they had racks of costumes on the stage, and like pillars with busts on them and vases that they would be made out of styrofoam. If you knew what you were doing in theater, none of that crap would be breakable. So yeah, why would you have all that garbage out on the stage? And okay, we would have gotten in so much trouble if we'd left the stage all messy like that.
This is what we're gonna question.
This is what I'm questioning, all the shit that's on the stage. And the next thing I question is Tyler sees a judge, and he assigns him 200 hours of community service that he has to do at the school.
Vandalism at the Maryland School of the Arts. You a student there?
No.
See, you've been in this courtroom several times before. Where are your foster parents? Can you answer me with a sentence?
I don't know. I think my foster mom's trying to get off work.
Okay, Mr. Gage, look. This is the way we play the game here. You break it, you buy it. 200 hours of community service to be performed at the scene of the offense, the Maryland School of the Arts.
And he goes and talks with the principal.
And she just, like, bitches him out. Like, you realize that we had to cut a kid for that?
Well, the way she explained it is, do you realize the damage you did is as much as a student's tuition? Now, she didn't say for how long. Was it like a month or a year? I don't know.
She insinuated a whole year.
She insinuated it was a whole year. Ooh, because of the damage that he did, that cost somebody scholarship money. I'm like, bitch, he just tore a couple of costumes on the stage.
He didn't even do that. They like wore one of the capes.
And knocked it over. They broke a couple of things. Now, if he had, again, I said this like over and over during the movie because I thought this was so stupid. Had he broken some of the lighting equipment or the sound equipment, which those cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but then the people that were paying for this movie would have to actually pay for that.
Yeah, you have to have
This is a cheap movie. It's like, it's a real movie, but it's a cheap movie. This wasn't meant to be like a series. It really felt like a director's first shot.
Yeah, it was just kind of a
Like,
one-off
we're
that turned into a
everything
franchise.
in here. We'll get to that. That's a whole problem.
Yeah,
All the storylines.
all the scenes. So he helps out the janitor at the school, and he notices these dance classes, and some are ballet technique and some are contemporary, which contemporary basically has more contemporary choreography, but uses a lot of ballet technique, which the main actress is very good at that. And so he starts to get kind of interested, but it's still not his style. It's very much hip-hop street kind of dancing. Okay, I have a note in here, but I can't read my handwriting. 1835, extra stops, walls around them. I don't
Walks.
know. Walks.
There's a-
okay. I can't read my own handwriting.
Okay, so I think what she's talking about is there's this scene in between the scenes that actually matter where other main characters are walking down the stairs and they stop
yes,
and
the
they're
extra.
talking, and there's extras walking around them, and then there's one in particular walks like right up to the step above them and just stands there and
Just looks around like she doesn't know what to do.
then she slowly makes her way around to the left, and it felt like there was probably the director
Come on. Go to
ruining my show.
Yeah.
Christian Bale should have been there. They're like, you're a nice guy. You're a nice guy, but fuck you. Christian, why? Why are you here?
Why are you on this dance movie, Christian Bale? Okay, so that's what that was. So then Nora is the main girl, and she is a senior, I think, and she's preparing for the senior showcase, which in these movies are always like, oh yes, scouts from Juilliard are coming to watch. Like, you're in high school. No, they're
They
not.
also give them a lot of leeway.
What do
Like,
you
you
mean?
have a whole semester to build up this whole thing that you're going to showcase on your own. And you're basically the director and the choreographer and whatever else. Like, it's just, they always do this in these movies. It's very strange.
Yeah, but maybe that's how, I don't know. I didn't go to an art school. Maybe that's how that works. So she is in a pickle because her main dance partner...
He lost his foot
He tore his ACL.
to the war.
He
He lost
sprained his
foot.
ankle. He sprained his ankle, which in a nice way they show us because he stumps up with a crutch. Stop it. He sprained his ankle. And so then she's
Mine was
like...
better.
Oh my god.
It'd be funnier if he lost his foot to
and
a
then
crocodile.
he became Captain Hook, and the crocodile would always follow him. He's just sitting there in the audience like, got you, looking at you.
Yeah. It'd be way more interesting.
Yeah, crocodiles are cool.
Anyway, we can continue now.
So she's out of luck because she doesn't know what to do. She's trying to find a partner, and she notices... What's his name? Channing Tatum, Tyler. I'm not going to remember his character's name. Has taken some trash outside, and his friend Mac drives up and is kind of teasing him a little bit. And so Tyler starts doing a lot of hip-hop dancing, and Nora kind of notices him. She looks out the window, and then he looks up, and she shies away because, oh no, he's a bad boy.
That's what he showed him. Hey, yo.
So we
and
can't
then he
have
climbs
that.
up the side of the school and Romeo's her.
No, thank God he didn't do that. So she asked her boyfriend for help. I don't know why she asked her boyfriend for help because he's a singer.
Because she's a woman and she expects her boyfriend to fix all her problems.
Oh. I didn't know they did that.
They don't always, but...
I feel like I need to start cashing some chips in.
Not all women do this, but a lot of women will request their boyfriend to fix things that they know nothing about, that they don't have time for, and when the boyfriend's like, no, I have a full-time this, and a second this, and a fourth that, they're like, you don't love me. Like, you do these 5 things and then come back and help me with the car that I know nothing about. Will they do it? Probably not. So
he's kind of Team Brett and I'm Team Nora at
I'm
this
not
point.
on Team Brett because Brett's a dick, but I'm just saying he's got his own thing and he has his own project and he's probably actually busy.
And he's not a dancer because she holds auditions for her partner and all the boys are really bad at partnering. Now, I went to a primarily women's school, but we still learned how to do some partner dancing. We didn't do, like the stuff you see where the guy picks the girl way up over his head. We couldn't do that. But you learn some of the basic physics behind partnering. It's a two-way street. And these guys are awful. They drop her or
One
they...
of them was like allergic to her, like he threw her.
Yeah.
Because she jumped at him. He's like, fucking...
Yeah, and so Tyler swaggers in. He's like, yo, I can do that. I can pick you up.
I'll do it.
Do what?
I don't know, whatever y'all were trying to do out here.
She leaps into his arms and he picks her up and there's a little moment.
And he like does extra because he doesn't just like throw her up and do that
catch her by the leg thing.
He just like
holds her up.
Duh! I am the alpha now.
Yeah.
Sets her back down.
Yeah, and so then they go and talk to the principal and they're kind of going back and forth like, well, Nora, it's very risky. And then Channing Tatum turns around and goes,
y'all are talking about dancing like it's rocket science or something.
which I thought that was funny.
I mean...
And so then, there's so many little scenes. Wait, what were you going to say?
I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. There are all these little quick scenes. Like, it's exhausting. Like, there's one part where he lives with a foster family, and he's eating Carl's Jr. at the dinner table. Go ahead.
So, okay, well, let's see. There's the foster family story. There's... Which, by the way, the foster dad sucks. The foster mom seems fine. And the judge that gave him his community service seems cool. There's the Mario and what's her name's story.
Mario and Lucy?
Lucy.
Well, it's Miles, the actor.
Well, I'm calling him Mario.
Okay.
There's the Nora and Channing Tatum story. There's the boyfriend being a dick story. There's the Nora at home story with her mother. There's the other girl's boyfriend being a dick story, which we'll get around to. There's the carjacking story. There's the other one we'll get to later that's sad story that's involved with the carjacking. There's all this shit. Oh, there's the little basketball story.
Okay,
with
talk
his
about the
best
basketball
friend.
scenes in dance movies.
Fuck. I don't know why. It doesn't happen that much anymore, but early on, and it was usually the ones that are like filled with black actors, there's always an inevitable basketball scene. In a couple of these movies, there's like multiple scenes of, well, they're black, they gotta play basketball at the park. And they don't, there's no reason for them to be in there. It's just like an open space where they didn't have to like set up a bunch of shit for the shoot.
And there's no conversation to further the story along.
So, okay, in this, the basketball story works a little bit because Tyler starts to see what it feels like to work on something that he cares about, so he tries to talk to his friend about doing stuff that he cares about and taking it serious, like playing basketball. So it kind of works. But give me like one scene of them playing basketball and like mention it in a different scene. Don't fucking give me 4 scenes of them playing basketball and then 4 scenes of them looking at cars to carjack and then...
Yeah, it's a lot.
Now we can get back to the timeline. Too many scenes. It made the movie seem much longer than it was.
Yeah. That's a lot. So we do have some funny moments of Nora, who is played by Jenna Dewan. I can't really say her name, but she was married to Channing Tatum for 10 years and they have a daughter together. Interesting. This is where they met, on the set of this movie. And so she tries teaching him some dance technique, which a lot of it, again, the choreography is contemporary style, but a lot of the technique is ballet. And so it's funny watching him do that.
Those goose steps where he's...
It's a pas de chat, I think. Step of the cat. And he just looks silly because he has these big baggy jeans, big sneakers on, big oversized shirt. And so with montages, we usually like to play songs over it to make it funnier. Like in our Robin Hood episode, which you can watch or listen to, you'll see what song we played over a long chase scene. And I looked at my phone, and my songs were in alphabetical order, so I just picked the first one that sounded funny. And so for all the dancing, I played the Alabama song by The Doors.
It was so
Show
weird.
Me the Way to the Whiskey Bar, which it's a very weird, creepy song.
It was.
And so it's pretty funny. And so then another scene, Brett, Nora's boyfriend, is singing some kind of boy band music in a recording studio, and Miles is doing the music producing for him.
He's such a jock.
Explain that he's a jock.
He's weird. He's like, he finishes, and then they're like, okay, cut, and he's like, that was a good one. And it's something about the way he acts about it, like...
He's cocky.
It's like he just made his 3-pointer, he's like, yeah, that's my last one, that was a good one, like, fucking, yeah. And he always, like, looks at Tyler and gives him shit, like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, he talks some shit to Tyler.
He's made to be a jock, he just happens to like singing. Which is a weird combination, but, I mean, I guess it could work.
Yeah, let's see. Tyler tries to quit at some point, but that's really quick. It's the key. I forget why. There's some conflict. Of course this has to happen, and so he quits, and
he
Nora's
was
in a
late,
tough...
and she was complaining.
Yeah, he was...
So he was like, well, fine, I won't show up, I'll just do my janitor work. And then she bitches him out, and he's like, okay, it's you care about it, I'll come back.
Yeah, there's not really much to that. And then also, okay, so she takes him out to her special spot where she thinks about dance, and it's at some harbor, and they kind of have a romantic moment where they're dancing together, and she said she pictured the dance in her head as having lots of dancers, and so then the next day she shows up, and Channing Tatum's just like, well, you said you wanted lots of dancers, and tons of people are there, and I never know... Are they from the school? Are they from those people who were doing hip-hop dancing at the beginning?
No, it had to be... They were all from the school, because if it was people from his crew, it would have started the way that they did in the other Step Up movies, where they get people from... This is the guy that does this thing. That's the guy that rips his own head off. That's the chick that can split her leg in half. Just the one, not both. That's it.
Yeah, and
there's
so-
always the guy and the chick.
The one who does the robot and then he
does
finds
the
it-
thing.
Yeah.
The shit.
It is always that where they hold their chest and
Anyway.
Yeah, so-
they're all students.
Somehow
Because
he
he
rounds up a bunch of
particularly
students, I
like
guess.
defended them. He's like, you don't know if they can do it. You know, I can do
well,
it.
because
so.
she kept saying, and the freshmen and sophomores can't do anything. I'm like,
They
bitch,
suck
why
ass.
are they at school?
Yeah, so.
They're there to learn how to dance. And so then, okay, another note I have is there are lots of really short scenes, which feels like it's rushed and it's also dragging the story.
Because whoever did this wanted everyone fleshed out, which makes sense, but it makes it feel more like a series than a movie.
Yeah, because we have the whole Miles story. We have Lucy as her friend, who is, by the way, a trope in dance movies we've discovered. There's always the best friend who's Ponyhead from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. She's kind of a party girl, kind of boy crazy, but not too much.
Kind of loud,
Yeah.
kind of a tease.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, girl, we can have some fun. He's really cute.
very unruly. Bust your balls constantly. Like, that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. So
So that's one of the tropes that's in here. The main girl being a sort of, how do I put this? A generic
I was gonna say basic bitch.
brunette. Okay, nicer way of putting it, I guess. A basic bitch brunette.
It is. It's
It-
always a basic girl
like,
with long brown hair. Oh,
there's-
look at me. I'm a basic
There's
bitch with
two
long
of them
brown
that
hair.
show up in a couple of different of the Step Up movies that you always get confused.
They look exactly
and I
the
try to
same.
like keep them straight because they look exactly like the same person.
The 1 and 2 and the 1 and 3, I know are different girls, but they look exactly alike.
And the white guys that aren't like the main white guy, Channing Tatum and Moose, they always look the same too. They're just sort of tall, sort of got a jawline, brown hair. That's it. They all look the same, so it's very confusing. In fact, there's two of them in this movie. There's the British guy who is what's-her-name's boyfriend.
Ponyhead.
And there's Brett that was
Nora's
Nora's boyfriend. And I thought they were the same dude.
Yes, because we go to some party and there's a guy singing, and for a moment we're just like, is that Brett? What is?
I mean, Brett's a singer,
and because Miles was crabby about it.
yeah, so obviously
What
that's
he wasn't,
Brett.
but Lucy.
And then
who-
he comes off the
yeah.
stage. It's like, "Oi, guys, how the fuck you doing?"
Yeah, we're like, who are you?
Like-
So apparently Lucy, Nora's friend, is a singer, and Channing Tatum's like, whoa, I didn't know she could sing. And then
What was
and
Nora's line?
the line was, well, she's a dance major because she already knew how to sing. I'm like, so she's going to do the thing that's harder when she could really just get more training for singing.
She's trying to be a triple threat,
Dancing, singing, and what, acting?
I guess.
Maybe, but whatever. Anyway, Lucy's
So-
dating the British guy who's the singer.
But this immediately turns into
Another trope.
to a trope
Okay.
that we got to address because it's awful and it's about men. So for some reason in all these movies, if it's a romantic comedy or there's romance involved and it's a dance movie or it's romance and it's whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, horror, whatever. The main guy can't just be turned down by the girl and then they just are friends or he does his own thing or whatever. They have to continue to be around each other and usually flirty, or even if it's not, they're always around each other, and then the boyfriend has to turn out to be an asshole.
The boyfriend of the girl that the other guy likes.
Every single time.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Sometimes the other guy is perfectly nice, and you should just fuck off and do your own thing. So maybe this is where that whole the bad mentality some men have of like, oh, I just gotta keep trying. I gotta make her laugh, or I gotta do this, or eventually she'll realize. Not just
Yeah, just wear her down.
if she's
until
not
into
interested,
you.
either because she's with somebody or she just doesn't like you, just fuck off, leave, do your own thing. You can still hang out, you can just be her friend. You don't have to assume that he's an asshole, but these movies do. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And I've noticed it before, but I never really thought about it until this one, because they do it twice. They do it with both of the they're not even both main dudes. There's the main dude, and then there's like the third dude.
Well, you mean, okay.
Miles Mario is like the third dude, because technically it's Channing Tatum and then Mac. It's kind of like the main dudes.
And then there's Brett and Miles.
Yeah, so Brett and Lucy's boyfriend are both assholes that, like, cheat. And that's how the girls can finally be with the good guy or whatever. Like, it's a stupid trope. Stop it. Stop it, movies.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Tyler and Nora have started dating, and it's kind of cute when her mom walks in. He's like, "Oh, hello, Mrs. Nora's mom. You have a beautiful home." I'm making him sound like Dominic Toretto. Yo, this house is tight.
What if it was, though?
Oh, shit. What if it was Dominic Toretto at the dance school?
She's your family, and I don't care about nothing more than family. And he punches her in the face.
Yeah. Okay. So they do, and then there's another little montage of cutesy relationship stuff, and then you played a song.
Yeah, there was more dancing and more relationship and them just being silly, and I played Thought Shit by Megan Thee Stallion. And it worked really well.
It did work really well.
And it's also hilarious, so try that one.
Yeah, and meanwhile, in one of these little quick scenes that they just cram in, Tyler's little foster sister brings him a massive glass of orange juice.
It's like ridiculous, like this
Huge,
big, like
32 ounce filled all the way to the brim of
to
orange
the tip,
juice.
like it's about to overflow. Like he's got vitamin C for like a week, and how I don't even care for orange juice, but how could you drink?
Yeah, so
full ass.
I don't know. That's a lot of sugar.
They're just
a lot of sugar, says the person drinking the whiskey tea cocktail.
There's like 3 scenes with his little sister, who is the tie-in for kind of the third movie. Well, her and Moose.
Because she's older and she shows up in the later stuff.
She's not in the second one.
She's in the third and fourth one.
Yeah. So she's part of the tie-in. Now, all the movies sort of have somebody left over to tie in, kind of like the Tremors films, which are very different.
All these franchises.
That would be an interesting crossover, like dancing in the city of Baltimore, and there's monsters eating people under the street.
Yeah.
Just, but okay, so they had to have the foster thing where he sort of shows he's actually nice with his little foster siblings because their foster parents suck. And they just have the kids to get the cash, which they just blatantly say, like, we're just doing this for the checks, you pieces of shit, bring me a beer. So, too many of those, too many...
Yeah.
Oh, and there's, at some point in this, because I know we're supposed to be getting towards the big conflict, their chop shop guy bitched him out for bringing them this shit car.
Okay, wait, let's back up a little bit. So, Mac and Tyler, it's mostly Mac's gig, but he brings cars to this guy named Omar, who's played by Heavy D.
And he's awesome.
And, yeah, he's awesome. And a chop shop. And so he's mad at them because...
They brought him a shit Ford that nobody wanted, that's all. Like, and they told him, I'll let you into the next party if you go find me an Escalade. And they sort of talk shit to each other, and then they disappear. And the Escalade comes back in later.
Yeah.
But Omar is cool, because later on, after Mac was giving Tyler shit for, like, missing a basketball game...
Well, and then Tyler wants to get into the art school at this point.
Yeah, and he's, like, getting good at it.
Mac gets really mad about it.
And he basically... makes fun of him and belittles him for being like, ooh, he's an arts fag, basically, is what
he would
want to say.
Yeah.
And they're at a party, and he sees Miles. Maybe they've been to the same parties, but now they actually know each other. So they start talking, they hang out all together, and then Mac finds out that Miles is in the same school, and that's where they met. And he starts sort of like, you don't look like, what I expect for an art school.
Yeah.
Omar's sitting across on the other couch. Just shut the fuck up.
He was like Miles Davis and a bunch
what,
of
you
other
mean
people
like Tupac and all these different people and like
all these
they
people
all
went
went to art school. So shut the fuck up. Let him do his thing. So Omar's the shit. He
maybe Heavy D went to art school.
He's kind of, to me, it reminded me of like The Godfather. Like he's gonna do his illegal shit, But when he sees someone with potential, he doesn't want that life for them. He wants them to make it out. So,
And meanwhile, there's been another little conflict of Andrew comes back, who was Nora's dance partner, and so Tyler immediately runs off
because they can't speak to each other because they're dumb.
They can't communicate, and she can't work it out. So we think he's not going to join her at her showcase. So let's see. We go to... And then there's a thing with Nora. It's like weird. They do a lot of character development unnecessarily, but then they skimp on some because with Nora and her mom's basically kind of telling her, like, dancing's great and all, but... You know,
what about real school?
What about real school? What about Cornell and all these Ivy League institutions? And so then in one scene, Nora kind of looks like a sad little puppy, comes up to her mom and pushes a Cornell folder towards her, and her mom's like, yes, this is good. And then in another scene, her mom says, oh, you were so happy when we took you to your first dance class. I know that's what you love to do. I'm going to support you in whatever you do. And like, wait, when was this switch?
If I had to take a guess, I would say that subtext. So the daughter finally gives in, but when she gives in, she's so downtrodden.
She's so sad about
that
it.
Her mom's like, well, I don't want you to be sad, so I'm sad, so let's not be sad.
I guess. They keep having changes of heart, and I don't really care. They don't really build that up to be an issue at all, honestly. No. So there's the big conflict, is that I think this all happens at once. Let's see. There's the big party where...
Well, that's conflict. Then there's the party. The party I was talking about where Miles is hanging out with them, and Skinny wasn't supposed to come because
his mom told
they've been in trouble, and their mom was like, you better leave his ass at home. So Skinny comes all the way down to their side of town to go to the party, and his brother kicks him out and gives him some money to like get a cab or something back home or some shit. And on the way home, he sees an Escalade, but it happens to be driven by some guy from the area that they know is like sort of on the opposite side of their chop shop game or something like that.
He was the guy who pulled the gun on Channing Tatum at the very beginning, and Skinny had thrown trash at his car, but only until it went around the corner. So he's kind of a rival, but we really only see him at the beginning and the end.
And so Skinny waits till they go inside to get something to eat, and he runs over and he steals their car, and he stops it right back at the party, and he's, showing off, and his brother's freaking out, like, get the fuck out of the car. And by the time he does, he's sitting there waiting, and then this asshole we don't know anything about drives past
his name.
And just kills him.
Shoots him, yeah.
The first time I was like, what the fuck?
I know. I thought this was just a dance movie.
Did we need to build up to death? And this is a trope too. Because they did this in a few of these dance movies.
You got served. A kid gets shot in a drive-by or something.
Honey, there was something like this.
The little kid got arrested for something, but he didn't die.
There's always this cute kid who's not a part of, the real group because he's a little bit younger. And he dies or he gets...
And gets in trouble or
he gets
something.
sent to jail. Or it's always some weird, aggressive shit. So, Skinny's dead. And it's sad. And...
Yeah.
That teaches Mac that he should actually clean up his life, which I think is... He could have just been shot and survived. I mean, from a writing standpoint. You didn't have to kill him. Just have him get shot and live.
Nope, he's dead. And so Mac wants to do better, and I think he kind of encourages Tyler, and he's basically like, if you love to dance, then go do your thing. So, of course... In movie magic, the way it happens, Tyler shows up to the showcase at the last minute, right before Nora's piece is about to perform. And so he shows up, so she was going to do it without a partner, but with all these other dancers. And so she looks at them says, Tyler's back, go back to the old dance. And they're like, okay. So, I don't know, I've never been a professional dancer or anything, but it's like, if you learn a piece of choreography and then you don't have to do it anymore, you don't remember that stuff.
I mean, okay, in the most fairness I can be, they didn't have a lot to do. Oh. It was an ensemble thing, but they slowly break off.
Yeah, they break off so Nora and Tyler can do their partner dancing. And something... Okay, go ahead.
Random thought. I wonder why it is that the sophomores could do the street hip-hop dance stuff with Tyler, but that other guy couldn't.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't pull off this style. And...
Andrew basically kind of bowed out and said, look, Tyler's better, so I can't do this style of dancing. You need to have the right person for your piece.
But these other kids could do it, so I don't know.
So
maybe that's his messed up leg.
So
like, it's a little early for him to be...
So the main character thing could happen. That's where it's a little tropey. But what we liked about this is that it really doesn't disparage hip-hop music, because Miles has some hip-hop music playing. It doesn't disparage hip-hop dancing, which you see a lot of that in other dance movies, like, oh, it's from the streets, it's trashy.
Even in other Step Up movies, in the sequel, in Step Up 2, they
People
do this.
are really prejudiced towards hip-hop music and dancing.
They specifically, like, that's not... Like, the way the main girl dances doesn't match the music and shit, and because they won't let her play her music. And they're like, that's too aggressive, that's this and that.
Yeah, but the first one's just like, okay.
Be like this.
Yeah, and the principal, you'd think she'd be really snobby about it, which she kind of is, but she's also like, yeah, that's fine. That's cool.
She's snobby, but every time they introduce something else that's, like, a little outside of the ballet and contemporary stuff, she's just like, oh, this is a big risk, this is really good, you're growing into your own, like... She was supposed to be like a McGonagall type character, but maybe they needed an older actress.
It was, okay, I can't remember who it is, but she was in Muriel's Wedding, and she was the main guy's wife in 6 Feet Under. She's Australian, Rachel something. And so she tries to come across as very high class and artsy and calm and snobby, but she's really just seems a little too chill for her own good. Just like she took a little too much Percocet.
Like, I love the idea of always that character that's like the stern teacher that's kind of cool though. Like, everybody loves that character.
Yeah.
But she was like 75% there.
She was okay. I mean, you could have replaced any actor and it wouldn't have mattered. So the piece goes off well. There are some scouts from dance companies, not just colleges, but from dance companies. And so this one lady goes up to Nora and says, hey, we want you to audition for our company after you graduate from high school. And then she is interested in Tyler too. And that's basically the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so he becomes a dancer.
So... We skipped a ton of shit, and on purpose.
There were all those little scenes that didn't really matter.
Because like, I can see, it's kind of like Fast and Furious. You gotta start at the beginning, and then work your way up to the insanity.
Yeah, because
I think I still enjoy Fast and Furious 1 more than I can enjoy Step Up 1.
Yeah, Step Up 1 is just a nice little movie. I don't know if it's not a hate watch, because there were some things that were dumb about it.
It's still a guilty pleasure for me, because it's like dance movies.
Dance movies are always guilty pleasures.
But this is, like, it's the most, like, a legitimate film, but it's not fun like the less legitimate films. It's
the undisputed one of the Undisputed franchise.
Like, technically, this takes it more serious and gives you a real look at it, and it's not over the top, but you kind of need some over the top. There's no dance battles. There's no ridiculous, like, guys posting up, trying to act all cool, and then, like, but let's dance about it. Like, there was one guy that got in between somebody dancing, and it turned into a fight, and then it turned into pulling a gun. Like... Normal progression.
There was no dance battle.
There's no, like, let's sell it on the fucking...
Settle on the dance floor!
Like, I'm about to spin out of my hat. There was none of that. But it was fine. It's like... It's somebody's first shot at making a film. That's what a film feels like. And if that's what they needed to turn it into the rest of them, then that's cool.
So, yeah, if you like dance and you like a good... decent movie, Step Up is fine. If you need ridiculousness, Step Up 3, Step Up Revolution is
3
over the top.
3, I think, is the best one. Like, it's right in the center. Perfect, straight down the middle, over the top, but enjoyable, and not so stupid that you're angry.
Yeah, the 4th one has some really ridiculous things in it.
Like terrorism?
Yeah, basically.
Maybe we'll probably end up doing those at some point. Or at least, maybe not 3, because it's just fun.
3's
maybe
good.
we
Yeah,
will.
3's fun. It has that begging song, too.
4 we probably could do. Like, it's really... 5 too. They're all insane, but 3 is the best if you want like it to be kind of a quick popcorn movie, and you get the cool dancing, and you get sort of the weird character cliches going back and forth, but it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, and I don't think kids get murdered in the third and the fourth.
Yeah, no
one
one dies in the other.
Okay, so I've got some recommendations. Both Magic Mike movies with Channing Tatum.
They are very funny.
The first one actually has kind of a darker, sad story to it. It's a really good movie. It's got a great storyline. And the second one is pure popcorn, silliness, ridiculous, hot guys doing the dumbest shit.
And it's really...
I laughed my ass off the
so
whole
funny.
time. It's so funny.
I actually didn't think it would be as funny as it was. Like,
it was so funny.
I think they knew that they couldn't go like really like a character piece like the first one
The
kind
first
of
one
is.
was more of a character, so there was like drug abuse and money
and
issues
just
and
how sometimes your life is shit, even though it looks like it shouldn't be.
Sometimes you have dreams and those dreams
Don't
die.
happen. Yeah. But the second one, they're just like, we're going all in on the humor. And it was the shit.
It's like hot, muscly guys doing ridiculous dancing, and I'm here for that. It was so funny.
And
it was
sometimes
so funny.
doing drugs and impressing people.
Sometimes, yeah. And Joe Mangiano, or whatever his name is, does this dance at a gas station, and
worth the whole movie.
Worth it for that. Okay, and then I have a recommendation for a TV show that I used to watch called So You Think You Can Dance. And it's a competition show. And they get dancers from all kinds of different styles, like contemporary, ballet, salsa, hip hop, and they partner them every week. I don't even know if the show is still going, but maybe you can find old clips from it. They partner them and they give them a style to learn. So you might have the ballet and the salsa person doing a hip hop piece. And sorry, I'm swallowing my whiskey drink and I'm trying to talk at the same time. And then they get judged on it. And actually, the winner of the first season, who goes by the handle Twitch, was in, I think he was in Step Up 3, or he was in the fourth one.
3 and 4.
He was in 3 and 4. Really cool guy, great personality, awesome hip-hop dancer. So he's in those movies. So those are my recommendations. I guess yours are the other Step Up movies.
I suppose okay... Heartbeats is one that I've already recommended, and another thing, I think. But I guess I'll recommend it again, because it's my favorite dance movie. Because it's a lot more cultural, and it's just nice. It's almost... it's a little bit Bollywood, which is cool, because I haven't really seen a Bollywood movie. We'll get to that.
I have plans.
Yeah, she has plans.
I have plans.
If you want to watch a Channing Tatum movie, that's another one that it's a bit more serious than you would expect. Fighting is pretty good.
That's the name of it?
Yeah.
Fighting?
Just Fighting. He's in New York, and he's sort of like peddling bullshit on the streets to make money, and he gets in a fight over it, and then some guy just kind of notices him, and he puts bets on underground fights. And then that's it. That's the rest of the movie. He like goes into underground fights, and it's decent, and it's a more serious, like a character story. So if you want more Channing Tatum doing a serious role, either the first Magic Mike or Fighting would be good.
Yeah. So our plans for the rest of April are to do dance movies. And if we have time, I'm going to make AJ watch his first Bollywood movie, which the theme of it is dancing. So we'll keep with dancing all through April. So how to find us, we're on... Were you going to say something?
No, go ahead.
No? Okay. We're on Discord, Twitch. I don't know if those things are the same. I guess they are.
They're not.
Oh, son of a bitch. YouTube... Or you can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, and iTunes. You can look at pictures and see videos of us on our Instagram, Movie Painter Pleasure Podcast. You can find out about me and my writing on my Instagram, Melanie Gibson Author. So join our cult and be my victim. AJ, do you have any last words?
Don't tear your ACL doing a backflip in a dance competition, I guess.
Just don't tear your ACL.
Or that, just don't.
Just don't.
But don't challenge people to dance competitions. It's really strange.
It's a good way to tear your ACL.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bye.